Welcome back to Dream Retro, where we drift back to simpler times and relive the moments that shaped us. Picture this. It's the Electronic Entertainment Expo in Los Angeles. The year is 2006. The gaming industry is packed into conference halls, waiting to see what Nintendo has up its sleeve. Sony has just announced the PlayStation 3 with its hefty $599 price tag. Microsoft's Xbox 360 has been on shelves for 6 months, pushing high-definition graphics and online gaming. And Nintendo? Nintendo is about to do something nobody expected. When Satoru Iwata stepped onto that stage and held up a simple white remote, the gaming world tilted on its axis. This wasn't another black box promising better graphics. This was something else entirely. Something that would soon find its way into nursing homes and celebrity living rooms, into the hands of grandmothers and kindergartners, into millions of homes where a traditional game console would never have been welcome. This is the story of the Wii. Not just what it was, but what it felt like to live through the phenomenon. What it meant to be there when gaming broke out of the basement and into the living room. When your mum actually wanted to play video games. When a little white box outsold everything else on the planet. To understand the Wii, you have to understand what gaming looked like in 2005. The industry was locked in a brutal arms race. Sony's PlayStation 2 dominated with over 100 million units sold. Microsoft had crashed the party with the original Xbox, bringing Halo and a vision of online console gaming. Nintendo's GameCube, despite having some incredible games, had limped into third place with less than 22 million units sold worldwide. Gaming in the mid-2000s had a very specific identity. It was for young men, mostly. The stereotype of the gamer was firmly established. Mountain Dew, Doritos, late nights, violent shooters, complex controllers with a dozen buttons. Games were getting more cinematic, more mature, more expensive to produce. Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas was the biggest game in the world. Halo 2 had redefined online multiplayer. The PlayStation 3 was being positioned as a multimedia entertainment device that could play Blu-ray discs and render graphics that supposedly rivaled film. Nintendo was in an interesting position. They had the Game Boy Advance and the newly launched DS dominating handheld gaming, but their home console business was struggling. The GameCube had wonderful games: Super Smash Bros. Melee, Metroid Prime, The Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker, but it was seen as the kiddie console, the purple lunchbox that your little brother had. Internally, Nintendo was having a reckoning. Satoru Iwata, who had become president in 2002, looked at the industry and saw a problem. Gaming was becoming more insular. The budgets were exploding. The complexity was increasing. The audience wasn't growing. It was just getting older and more hardcore. Iwata asked a question that seemed almost heretical. What if we stopped competing on graphics and horsepower? What if we did something completely different? Shigeru Miyamoto, the legendary creator of Mario and Zelda, had been experimenting with motion controls. He'd seen how people naturally gestured when playing games, how they'd lean and duck even though it did nothing. He wondered, what if those movements actually meant something? The conventional wisdom said Nintendo was making a mistake. The PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 were going to crush them with superior hardware. Real gamers wanted better graphics, more power, surround sound, HD resolution. Nintendo was pursuing a strategy that seemed designed to alienate the core gaming audience. They were right about that last part. But what nobody expected was that Nintendo wasn't trying to win over the core gaming audience anymore. Nintendo's next console was codenamed Revolution, and for once, the codename wasn't hyperbole. The concept was radical. Create a controller that anyone could pick up and use intuitively. Make gaming physical. Make it accessible. Make it something you didn't need a tutorial to understand. The development of the Wii Remote was a fascinating process. Nintendo partnered with companies that specialized in accelerometer technology. They tested countless prototypes. Early versions were bulkier, more complex. They experimented with different button layouts, different shapes. The goal was to make something that felt natural in your hand, that anyone could understand immediately. The sensor bar was another clever innovation. It wasn't actually a sensor at all. It was just two sets of infrared LEDs. The real sensor was in the Wii Remote itself, which used the IR lights as reference points to calculate its position. This was cheaper to manufacture than having sensors in the TV, and it meant the system could work with any television. Nintendo made another crucial decision: backward compatibility with GameCube games. The Wii would have GameCube controller ports and memory card slots. It would play GameCube discs. This was Nintendo hedging their bets, making sure they didn't completely alienate their existing audience. The console itself was designed to be non-threatening. In a world of black boxes with aggressive angles, the Wii would be small, white, and quiet. It would sit vertically like a sleek appliance. It would blend into your living room entertainment center. Your mum wouldn't complain about how it looked. The name Wii was announced in April 2006, and people absolutely hated it. The internet erupted in mockery. Wii sounded childish. It invited obvious jokes. Nintendo stock actually dropped when the name was announced, but Nintendo stuck with it, explaining that the name represented people coming together to play. Wii sounds like we, which emphasizes that the console is for everyone. Behind the scenes, Nintendo was also making deals. They convinced developers that this motion controller thing could work. They showed them prototypes. They got companies excited about the possibilities. But they were also realistic. They knew third-party support would be limited at first, so they made sure their launch lineup would be strong. The technical specifications were modest by design. The Wii was essentially two GameCubes duct-taped together in terms of raw power. It could barely do HD graphics. Its online infrastructure was rudimentary. But none of that mattered if the gameplay was revolutionary. Nintendo's marketing strategy was equally unconventional. They weren't going to advertise on Spike TV during extreme sports programming. They were going to target everyone: families, women, senior citizens. They created the We Would Like to Play campaign, which showed people of all ages and backgrounds enjoying the console together. The genius of Nintendo's strategy was that they weren't trying to sell the most powerful console. They were trying to sell an experience. And experiences, unlike graphics processors, are something everyone can understand. When the actual playable Wii debuted at E3 2006, something magical happened. The booth was mobbed. People lined up for hours just to swing a Wii remote for 5 minutes. You could see it on their faces. This immediate understanding, this sudden grin when they realized they were actually swinging a tennis racket, actually throwing a punch, actually aiming a bow and arrow. Reggie Fils-Aimé, Nintendo of America's president, and already a meme legend after his "My name is Reggie" introduction, challenged people to try it. "You don't need to be a gamer to play the Wii," he said. It was both a promise and a threat to the traditional gaming establishment. Journalists who'd been covering gaming for decades suddenly sounded like kids again in their previews. They described the feeling of playing Wii Sports tennis, how intuitive it was, how they found themselves actually following through on their swings, even though they didn't need to. They talked about playing Zelda and physically aiming the bow, feeling more connected to Link's actions than ever before. The industry reaction was mixed. Some developers were genuinely excited. Others were skeptical. This was a gimmick, they said, and gimmicks don't sustain a 7-year console generation. Sony executives made dismissive comments about motion control being a novelty. Phil Harrison from Sony demonstrated the PlayStation 3 6-axis controller, their hastily added motion sensing. And it felt like exactly what it was, a reaction, not a vision. But on the show floor, something was undeniable. People weren't just playing Wii games, they were performing them. They were laughing. They were teaching each other. They were making fools of themselves in public and not caring. In one corner of the convention center, a 60-year-old gaming journalist was bowling strikes and grinning like she'd discovered something wonderful. The price point was announced: $249.99, less than half the cost of a PlayStation 3. The launch date, November 19th, 2006, just days after the PlayStation 3's troubled launch. Nintendo wasn't competing anymore. They were going around the competition entirely. If you wanted a Wii on launch day, you camped out. Even in November cold, even when there was school or work the next day, people lined up outside Best Buys and Targets and Toys R Us stores. The line started forming the night before. People brought tents, sleeping bags, portable heaters. They made friends with the strangers standing next to them, bonding over shared anticipation. The scene outside stores that Sunday morning was electric. Unlike typical console launches that skewed young and male, these lines were diverse. There were college students and soccer mums. There were dads with their kids. There were people who'd never camped out for a console before, who'd maybe never even owned a console before. But they'd seen the commercials and tried the demo at Target, and something about it just clicked. Stores opened, and people rushed in with that particular mix of excitement and relief that comes from waiting hours for something you really want. Most stores had between 20 and 40 units. Some had fewer. If you weren't in the first wave, you were out of luck. The Wii sold out everywhere, instantly. By noon, the Wii was already becoming a legend. It wasn't just sold out, it was impossible to find. The hunt for a Wii became a cultural phenomenon in itself. Websites tracked shipments, people called stores every morning. Parents became tactical shoppers, learning delivery schedules, befriending stockroom employees. The unboxing experience was designed to delight. The box itself was clean and simple. The console wrapped in protective sleeves. Everything had a place. There was the console, the sensor bar, the Wii remote and nunchuck, the power cable, the AV cables, and most importantly, there was Wii Sports, packed in with every system. Setting it up was deliberately easy. You placed the sensor bar on your TV, either above or below the screen. You connected the simple cables, no HD confusion, no complex setup menus. You turned it on, and you were greeted by that welcoming startup chime and the friendly interface. The first time you pointed the Wii remote at the screen and saw the little hand cursor appear, following your movements, something clicked. This was different. This was new. You weren't pushing buttons to move a cursor. You were just pointing, like using a real remote control, but for your entire TV. Then came the Mii creation. This was your introduction to the Wii's philosophy: personalization, accessibility, fun. You could make a digital avatar that looked like you, or like anyone. The tools were simple but expressive. You could make yourself, your family, your friends, celebrities, characters from movies. People spent hours creating their Mii parade, populating their console with little digital people. And then, finally, you launched Wii Sports. Wii Sports was a masterpiece of game design disguised as a simple tech demo. 5 sports: tennis, bowling, golf, boxing, and baseball, reduced to their most essential elements and controlled through motion. No complex button combinations, no tutorials required. You swung the remote like a tennis racket and you hit the ball. You rolled your arm like you were bowling and the ball rolled down the lane. The genius of Wii Sports was that it felt right immediately. Your brain made the connection between your physical motion and the on-screen action. When you played tennis and the ball came at you, you didn't think press A to swing. You just swung. It was intuitive in a way that games rarely are. Within days of launch, the story started flooding social media and forums. People were playing Wii Sports with their parents, with their grandparents. A woman wrote about how her 75-year-old mother, who had never touched a video game, bowled a perfect 300 in Wii Sports and did a victory lap around the living room. A man described how his father-in-law, previously dismissive of gaming, challenged him to a boxing match and trash-talked throughout. Wii Sports became the great equalizer. Your skill at traditional games meant nothing here. Your grandmother, who'd never held a controller in her life, could beat you at bowling because she actually knew how to bowl. The playing field was leveled in a way it had never been before. Families were gathering in living rooms again. Parents and kids were playing together, but not in the traditional parent trying to connect with their kid's hobby way. They were playing together as equals, sometimes with the parent winning, sometimes with the parent teaching the kid the proper form for a tennis serve or a golf swing. The physical nature of the game created moments of comedy and connection. People threw their remotes. Oh, did they throw them? Through TV screens, into walls, across rooms. Nintendo quickly started including wrist straps with stern warnings, but the damage was done. Wii Remote horror stories became their own genre of internet content, but that physicality also made the game social in a new way. When someone was playing Wii Sports, everyone in the room was involved. You watched your friend wind up for a baseball pitch. You cheered when your dad got a strike in bowling. You laughed when your sister accidentally threw the boxing match because she dropped the remote. The game turned the living room into a shared experience again. Retirement communities and nursing homes started buying Wiis. Physical therapists used them for rehabilitation. The stories that emerged were touching. Elderly people who'd stopped being active were bowling again, playing virtual tennis, moving their arms and feeling connected to sports they'd loved decades ago. People with Parkinson's disease found the system helpful for motor control exercises. The Wii was showing up in hospitals, in senior centers, in places game consoles had never been before. Wii Sports was also competitive in its own quiet way. You had your profile, your skill level that rose as you played. The game tracked your progress, showed you improving. Reaching pro level in tennis felt like a genuine achievement. Bowling a perfect 300 was bragging rights for weeks. The game's presentation was deliberately friendly. The Miis playing sports with you were your Miis, your family, your friends. The crowds were populated with Miis from your system. It felt personal, like a neighborhood game where everyone knew each other. Wii Sports sold 0 copies. It was free with every console. And yet, it became one of the most played games of all time, with the Wii Sports brand eventually selling over 100 million copies when you counted the sequels and Resort Edition. That pack-in strategy was brilliant. It guaranteed that every single Wii owner had the same shared experience, the same reference point. By Christmas 2006, the Wii was the most desired item in America. Stories of desperate parents searching dozens of stores were evening news fodder. The console was selling for $500 plus on eBay. Stores that got shipments would sell out in minutes. The shortage lasted well into 2007. When you finally got a Wii in early 2007, you were part of something. Your friends wanted to come over and try it. You brought it to parties. It became a social centerpiece in a way game consoles usually weren't. The Wii wasn't relegated to the basement or bedroom. It lived in the living room, proudly displayed. The stories from this era are legendary. Families were having Wii bowling tournaments. Retirement communities were forming leagues. Churches were hosting Wii Sports nights. One nursing home reported that their residents were more active and social after getting a Wii. A woman threw out her back playing Wii tennis. A man punched a hole in his ceiling playing Wii boxing. These weren't cautionary tales. They were badges of honor. Celebrities were photographed with Wiis. Ellen DeGeneres played Wii Sports on her show. Jimmy Fallon had Wii segments. The console showed up in sitcoms and movies. It was a cultural shorthand for fun, for accessibility, for the new generation of gaming. When a TV character played a Wii, the audience immediately understood what that meant. The phenomenon crossed generational and gender lines in unprecedented ways. Gaming publications ran articles about the surge in women gamers, in senior gamers, in casual gamers. These weren't new demographics. These were people who'd been waiting for gaming to meet them where they were, instead of demanding they adapt to gaming's terms. Wii Fit launched in 2008 and became another sensation. The balance board was another novel input device, another way of making gaming physical and purposeful. Suddenly, people were doing yoga in their living rooms, guided by a friendly cartoon board. They were weighing themselves, tracking their BMI, doing strength training. Was it a perfect fitness solution? No. But it got people moving, got them engaged. The Wii Fit phenomenon was its own story. People who would never have bought a fitness game on Xbox or PlayStation were buying Wii Fit. Your mum had one. Your aunt had one. The couple next door used it every morning. It sold nearly 23 million copies, becoming one of the best-selling games of all time. Nintendo was printing money. The company's stock price soared. They couldn't manufacture Wiis fast enough. Meanwhile, the PlayStation 3 was struggling with its high price and limited library. The Xbox 360 was doing well with hardcore gamers but wasn't capturing the broader market. Nintendo had found an audience that Sony and Microsoft didn't even know existed. The Wii's channel system became part of the daily routine. You turn on your Wii and see the weather, check the news, look at your Mii parade. The message board let you exchange notes with friends, though it was clunky. The shop channel opened up Nintendo's back catalog. You could buy NES, SNES, and N64 games, reliving your childhood or discovering classics you'd missed. Virtual Console deserves special mention. For many younger gamers, this was their first exposure to Nintendo's legacy. You could buy Super Mario 64 for $10 and play it on your Wii. You could get Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy III, Castlevania. The Virtual Console library eventually grew to include Sega Genesis games, TurboGrafx 16 games, and even Commodore 64 titles. It was a museum of gaming history, accessible from your couch. The Wii was also a social hub, in an early, primitive way. Wii Connect 24 meant your console was always on, always connected, quietly downloading updates and messages while you slept. That little blue light glowing from the disk slot meant something was waiting for you. It was an early taste of what always online gaming would become, but friendlier, less demanding. While Wii Sports was the ambassador, the Wii had a deep library that often gets forgotten in the nostalgia. The Legend of Zelda. Twilight Princess launched alongside the system, a port of the GameCube game, sure, but it controlled beautifully with motion controls. Aiming the bow felt natural. Swinging the sword felt right. For many people, this was their first Zelda game, and what an introduction it was. Super Mario Galaxy released in 2007 and showed that Nintendo still understood what made games magical. The gravity-defying planetoid gameplay was stunning, even on the Wii's modest hardware. The orchestrated soundtrack was breathtaking. This was a masterpiece that happened to be on the Wii, proving that you didn't need cutting-edge graphics to create something transcendent. Super Smash Bros. Brawl in 2008 became the ultimate Wii party game. The roster was massive, including Snake from Metal Gear and Sonic the Hedgehog. The online multiplayer was laggy but functional. The game had a story mode, the Subspace Emissary, that was basically a love letter to all of Nintendo's franchises. Friend codes were annoying, but once you got past them, you had a fighting game that anyone could pick up and enjoy. Mario Kart Wii with the wheel peripheral was another phenomenon. That plastic steering wheel shell that you snapped the Wii remote into shouldn't have worked as well as it did. But playing Mario Kart by literally turning a wheel, tilting it for drifts, was incredibly fun. The game sold 37 million copies, becoming one of the best-selling Mario Kart games ever. Wii Sports Resort in 2009 introduced the Wii Motion Plus, an attachment that added more precise motion tracking. Sword fighting in that game felt visceral. Archery was engaging. Frisbee golf was oddly compelling. Resort showed what the Wii could do when developers really dug into the motion controls. Then there were the surprises. No More Heroes, a violent, stylish action game from Suda 51 that used motion controls for finishing moves. Zack and Wiki, a charming puzzle adventure that used the Wii remote in creative ways. Boom Blocks, Steven Spielberg's surprisingly fun block stacking game. House of the Dead, Overkill, a grindhouse-style rail shooter that was gleefully excessive. Third-party developers had a complicated relationship with the Wii. Some treated it as a dumping ground for shovelware. Others, like Ubisoft with their raving Rabbids games, found success with minigame collections. Call of Duty games came to Wii and controlled surprisingly well. Resident Evil 4 was ported to Wii with the motion controls that made aiming intuitive. But many major third-party releases skipped the Wii entirely. The hardware gap was too large. Games like Grand Theft Auto 4, Mass Effect, BioShock, the defining games of that generation for hardcore gamers, never appeared on Nintendo's system. This created a split. The Wii had the broadest audience, but not the deepest hardcore engagement. Nintendo's own games remained strong. Metroid Prime 3 used motion controls masterfully. Fire Emblem, Radiant Dawn served strategy RPG fans. Donkey Kong Country Returns was a brilliant revival. Kirby's epic yarn was adorably charming. The first-party output was consistent and high quality. The WiiWare service let indie developers release smaller games. World of Goo, Bit Trip, Lost Winds. These were creative, experimental games that found an audience. It wasn't as robust as Xbox Live Arcade, but it was Nintendo's first real attempt at downloadable original games. Looking back, the Wii library is deeper than people remember. There's shovelware, yes, mountains of it. Games with Wii forced into their title, party games that were transparent cash grabs, fitness games that promised miracles. But hidden among the junk were gems, strange experiments, and beloved classics. Let's go back there, really back there. It's 2007. You've finally gotten a Wii after months of searching. You pull it from the box, feeling the surprising lightness of the console. It's so much smaller than you expected, so clean and simple. White plastic that looks almost like an Apple product. You can hold the entire console in one hand. Setting up the sensor bar is oddly satisfying. You peel the adhesive backing, stick it to the top of your TV, and connect the thin cable. It's not intrusive. It doesn't ruin the aesthetics of your entertainment center. You plug in the power brick, white and compact, and connect the AV cables. The moment you turn it on, you hear that sound, the little musical flourish that would become so familiar. The screen glows blue, and suddenly you're in the Wii menu, that grid of channels stretching back in the three-dimensional space. You point the Wii remote, and that's when it really hits you. You're pointing at the TV, and it's working. The hand cursor follows your movement with just a tiny bit of lag. You can actually point at things. Creating your me is where the personality of the system really shines. The music is cheerful and welcoming. The tools are intuitive. You're not sculpting a photorealistic face. You're creating a cartoon version of yourself. You adjust the eyes, the nose, the mouth. You pick hair and skin tone. You can make yourself skinny or wide, tall or short. There's something playful about it, something that makes you smile. You make a me for yourself. Then you make one for your partner, or your sibling, or your parents. You spend way too long making celebrity me's, attempting Barack Obama, or Darth Vader, or your favorite TV characters. The Me channel music loop will be stuck in your head for days. Then you launch Wii Sports, and that's when your living room transforms. You're actually playing tennis. You're standing up, swinging your arm, watching your me on-screen mirror your movements. Your friend is next to you, swinging too. You're both yelling at the TV, celebrating points, groaning at mistakes. You play bowling and you go through the actual motions. Step forward, swing your arm, release at the right moment. You find yourself following through even though you don't need to. Your muscle memory is kicking in from actual bowling. When you get a strike, you turn to high-five your friend. The TV plays that satisfying strike animation, and you feel genuinely accomplished. Time disappears. You meant to play for 20 minutes, but it's been 2 hours. You're sweating a little. Your arm is tired. You're laughing, and so is everyone else in the room. This is different from other gaming experiences. This isn't sitting hunched over a controller, focused on the screen. This is active, physical, social. The next day, you're a little sore. Your shoulder aches from Wii tennis. You tell this to people, and they laugh. But they also understand. The Wii made you move in ways gaming never had before. People were getting legitimate exercise from Wii boxing. Physical therapists were noting the benefits of the motion. Over time, the Wii becomes part of your routine. You check the weather channel in the morning because it's right there, convenient. You browse the shop channel, looking at virtual console releases, debating whether to spend $8 on Super Mario Bros. 3. You watch your message board for notes from friends, though they're rare and clunky. Your Me Plaza fills up. Friends come over and make their Miis on your system. They live there now, these little digital representations of people you know. They show up in your games, in the crowds, in the audiences. There's something warm about seeing your friend's Mii cheering in the background of your tennis match. You remember specific moments. The time your mum actually beat you at bowling and wouldn't stop talking about it for weeks. The Christmas gathering where 3 generations played Wii Sports together, and your grandmother discovered she still had her bowling touch. The late night when you and your friends played Mario Kart until 3 a.m., screaming at blue shells and rubber banding AI. The Wii remote becomes an extension of your hand. You know exactly how to swing for topspin in tennis. You've perfected your bowling release. You can consistently hit home runs in baseball. These aren't button combinations you've memorized. These are physical skills you've developed. The console's small details become familiar. The slot loading disk drive that glows blue when something's waiting. The power light that stays amber when the system's in standby. The soft hum of the fan. The way the disk drive sounds when reading a game. The click of the sync button when pairing a new remote. You buy accessories, more Wii remotes because you need 4 for parties. Rechargeable battery packs because those AA batteries don't last. The classic controller for virtual console games. Maybe a Wii Zapper for shooting games, or the Wii Wheel for Mario Kart. Each accessory is white and clean, fitting the aesthetic. GameCube backward compatibility becomes a secret weapon. You dig out your old GameCube games, pop them in, and they work perfectly. You can still play Super Smash Bros. Melee or Eternal Darkness. The Wii quietly respects your gaming history. The system updates our small events. You turn on the Wii and it tells you an update is available. You wait a few minutes while it downloads and installs. The system firmware improves. New features in the shop, better stability, small interface tweaks. Nintendo is quietly supporting the system, but there are frustrations too. Friend codes are obtuse. You have to exchange these long strings of numbers to play online with friends. Why can't you just add someone by username? The online infrastructure feels 5 years behind Xbox Live. Voice chat is nearly non-existent. Many games that should be online aren't. the storage is limited. The internal memory fills up fast if you're downloading virtual console games. You can use SD cards, but it's clunky. You have to go to a specific menu to move things around. It feels like Nintendo didn't anticipate how digital their future would be. Third-party games are a minefield. For every good one, there are 5 shovelware titles. Games with motion controls shoehorned in, minigame collections that all feel the same, licensed games that are cynical cash grabs. You learn to be cautious, to read reviews, to stick mostly to first-party titles. But when the Wii works, it really works. Mario Galaxy is magical. Zelda, Twilight Princess feels epic. Metroid Prime 3 shows how motion controls can enhance a traditional game. These aren't gimmicks. These are great games that happen to use motion controls well. You remember the sounds. The coin sound when you navigate menus. The satisfying click when selecting something. The cheerful chime when a message arrives. The startup music that means it's time to play. The Me channel music that's somehow both catchy and calming. You remember the look of it. That clean interface, the channels floating in space. The simplicity of the Me channel. The vintage aesthetic of the Shop channel with its retro consoles. The soothing blue of the message board. Everything is designed to be welcoming, non-threatening, friendly. You remember specific gaming sessions. The Saturday morning you beat Mario Galaxy, that ending bringing unexpected emotion. The tournament bracket you set up for Mario Kart, tracking wins on a whiteboard. The week you were sick and played through Twilight Princess, losing yourself in Hyrule. The New Year's Eve party where Wii Sports was the main attraction and even non-gamers got competitive. The Wii taught you something. Gaming didn't have to be complicated to be meaningful. It didn't need a dozen buttons and complex combos. Sometimes, a simple motion, a swing, a throw, a point, could create real joy. The barrier to entry collapsed. Anyone could play. Everyone wanted to try. You think about the people you introduced to gaming through the Wii. Your parents, who'd never understood your hobby, suddenly got it when they played Wii Sports. Your younger cousins having their first gaming experiences with Mario Kart. Your grandmother, who was skeptical, ending up with her own Wii and calling you to ask about new bowling games. The Wii made gaming normal in a way it had never been before. It wasn't hidden in basements or bedrooms. It was in the living room, and that's where it belonged. It was something you did with family, with friends, with anyone who visited. It was welcoming and accessible and fun in the purest sense of the word. But like all phenomena, the Wii's dominance didn't last forever. By 2010, something had shifted. The novelty had worn off. That initial magic of swinging a remote and seeing your character respond had become familiar. What was revolutionary in 2006 felt routine by 2010. The casual audience that Nintendo had so successfully courted was, by definition, casual. They weren't buying 20 games a year. Many people had a Wii with just Wii Sports, maybe Mario Kart, maybe Wii Fit. The attach rate, how many games each console owner bought, was lower than Sony and Microsoft's. People had bought the Wii for a specific experience, and once they'd had it, they didn't necessarily need more. Hardcore gamers, the ones who bought multiple games per year and drove the industry, had moved on. They tried the Wii, enjoyed Wii Sports at parties, but their primary gaming was happening on Xbox 360 or PlayStation 3. The big releases, Call of Duty Assassin's Creed, Red Dead Redemption, Mass Effect were passing the Wii by. The hardware gap had become a canyon. Third-party support had withered. Companies realized that quick cash-grab minigame collections weren't sustainable, but they also couldn't port their major releases to hardware that couldn't handle them. The Wii became a Nintendo game machine with occasional bright spots from other developers. If you wanted a deep, story-driven experience, you looked elsewhere. Motion controls had been copied but refined. PlayStation Move and Xbox Kinect launched in 2010, offering their own take on motion gaming. While neither matched the Wii's market penetration, they gave PlayStation and Xbox owners access to similar experiences. The Wii's unique selling point was no longer unique. The system itself started to feel dated. HD televisions were becoming standard, and the Wii's standard definition output looked increasingly blurry. Online gaming had evolved on other platforms. Party chat, achievements, robust multiplayer communities, while the Wii's online infrastructure remained primitive. Friend codes felt archaic in an age of Xbox Live and PlayStation Network. Nintendo's first-party output, while still quality, had slowed. The big franchises had gotten their Wii entries. We'd had our Mario, our Zelda, our Metroid, our Smash Brothers. The release calendar had more gaps. The excitement had dimmed. People weren't lining up for Wii games anymore. You could feel it in living rooms across the world. Wiis that had been played daily in 2007 were gathering dust by 2011. The remotes sat in drawers. The sensor bar stayed connected but unused. The console transitioned from centerpiece to forgotten appliance. People still owned their Wiis, they just weren't playing them. The software sales told the story. Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort had massive numbers. Mario Kart Wii and Wii Fit were huge. But look at other games, even good ones. Their sales dropped off dramatically. The audience had consolidated around a few experiences and wasn't exploring beyond them. There were bright spots in the later years. Skyward Sword in 2011 was a beautiful swan song for the system, using Motion Plus for intricate sword combat. Donkey Kong Country Returns was excellent. Kirby's epic yarn charmed anyone who played it. But these felt like goodbyes, not new beginnings. The industry had moved on. E3 presentations focused on Xbox and PlayStation. The conversation was about HD graphics, about online connectivity, about digital distribution, about social features. The Wii was still selling. It would end up over 101 million units, but it wasn't the story anymore. Nintendo's answer to the Wii's decline was the Wii U, announced in 2011 and launched in 2012. It was a confusing proposition from the start. Was it a new console or an accessory? The marketing never made this clear. The name itself, Wii U, suggested an upgrade rather than a successor. The Wii U's gamepad, a tablet-like controller with a screen, was innovative but hard to explain. You could play games on the TV or on the gamepad. You could use the gamepad screen for inventory management or maps. It offered asymmetric multiplayer. These were interesting ideas that Nintendo struggled to communicate. The casual audience that had embraced the Wii didn't understand the Wii U. Was it just a new controller for their existing Wii? Did they need it? What did it do that the Wii didn't? Nintendo's ads didn't answer these questions clearly. The mainstream appeal that had defined the Wii evaporated. Hardcore gamers were skeptical. Yes, the Wii U had HD graphics, finally catching up to 7-year-old hardware. But the third-party support issues persisted. Launch titles like Zombie U and Nintendo Land showed potential, but the momentum never built. Major publishers treated the Wii U as an afterthought. The Wii U struggled from day one. Sales were sluggish. The eShop was better than the Wii Shop channel, but it felt empty. The Miiverse social network was charming but limited. The system updates seemed to take forever. The gamepad's battery life was poor. Everything about it felt half-baked. Nintendo's first-party games on Wii U were often excellent. Super Mario 3D World, Mario Kart 8, Splatoon, Bayonetta 2, Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze. These were great games that deserved better hardware sales. But great games don't save a console that the market has rejected. The Wii U sold only 13.5 million units in its lifetime, making it Nintendo's worst-selling home console. It was a commercial disaster and a cautionary tale about the dangers of confusing messaging and misreading your audience. The Wii sold over 101 million units. It generated billions in revenue for Nintendo. It introduced millions of people to gaming. By any commercial measure, it was one of the most successful consoles ever made. But the Wii's legacy goes beyond sales numbers. It proved that innovation didn't have to mean more power. It showed that accessibility could expand the market. It demonstrated that motion controls, when done right, could enhance gameplay. It changed how the industry thought about who games were for. The Wii's influence is everywhere. Motion controls became standard. The PlayStation 4 controller has a touchpad and gyroscope. The Nintendo Switch has motion controls in its Joy-Cons. Virtual reality gaming is built on motion tracking. The Wii pioneered consumer-level motion gaming. The casual gaming market that the Wii cultivated didn't disappear. It migrated to smartphones. When the iPhone and iPad took off, they absorbed much of the Wii's casual audience. Games like Angry Birds and Candy Crush offered accessible, pick-up-and-play experiences. The Wii had proven the market existed. Mobile gaming claimed it. Nintendo learned from both the Wii's success and the Wii U's failure. The Switch, launched in 2017, combined the Wii's accessibility with modern hardware and better third-party support. It had motion controls but didn't rely on them. It had a novel form factor, hybrid home portable, but explained it clearly. The Switch became Nintendo's best-selling home console, eventually surpassing even the Wii. The Wii's first-party games have aged remarkably well. Mario Galaxy is still gorgeous, still magical. Twilight Princess holds up. Mario Kart Wii is still fun. The best Wii games transcended their hardware limitations through art direction and design. For a generation of gamers, the Wii was their introduction to Nintendo, to gaming, to interactive entertainment. Kids who got Wiis in 2006 are adults now, with their own nostalgia for motion controls and Miis. The Wii is their NES, their SNES, their formative gaming experience. The Wii proved that gaming could be for everyone. Your grandmother could play. Your mum wanted to play. Your non-gamer friends would try it at parties. It broke down barriers and stereotypes. Gaming wasn't just for young men in dark rooms anymore. It could be social, physical, inclusive. The cultural impact was real and lasting. Nursing homes still use Wii systems for recreation and therapy. The research on Wii gaming for elderly patients, for rehabilitation, for physical therapy, it's substantial. The Wii had real-world benefits beyond entertainment. The Wii also showed the limitations of novelty. Motion controls were exciting until they weren't. The casual market was huge but fickle. Building a platform on accessibility alone wasn't sustainable. Nintendo needed both the casual audience and the dedicated gamers. The Switch succeeded by learning this lesson. If you still have a Wii, maybe it's time to pull it out. Dust off the sensor bar. Find those remotes in the drawer. Charge them up or grab some AA batteries. Boot it up and hear that familiar startup chime. The interface looks dated now, almost quaint. The standard definition output is noticeably blurry on modern TVs. The motion controls feel less precise than you remember, but there's still something there. Something that made the Wii special. Play Wii Sports again. It's still fun. The simplicity is refreshing in an age of complex games with sprawling menus. There's an elegance to swinging your arm and hitting a tennis ball. The games that seemed shallow in 2010 feel almost meditative now. Try Mario Galaxy. Marvel at how beautiful it still looks, how imaginative the level design is, how perfect the controls feel. This is a masterpiece that happens to be on the Wii. The hardware limitations forced creativity, and the result is timeless. Check your Mi Plaza. Look at all those little avatars you created years ago. Some might be friends you've lost touch with. Some might be family members who are gone. These little digital people are time capsules, memories frozen in simplified cartoon form. Browse the shop channel if it's still working. Nintendo shut down most Wii online services in 2023. But some functionality remains. Look at your download history. Remember buying these games, being excited to play them, spending those Wii points. The Wii exists in a specific moment in gaming history. It was the bridge between the traditional gaming audience and everyone else. It came before smartphones dominated casual gaming, before streaming became standard, before always online was expected. It was a simpler time, for better and worse. Playing the Wii now is an act of nostalgia, but not empty nostalgia. It's revisiting a moment when gaming felt genuinely revolutionary, when anything seemed possible. It's remembering what it felt like to point at the TV for the first time, to swing your arm and hit a home run, to bowl a strike in your living room. There are moments you can't get back. The first time you swung a Wii remote and your on-screen character responded. The look on your grandmother's face when she realized she could play this video game thing. The Christmas morning when everyone wanted a turn. The party where Wii Sports became the unexpected main event. These moments live in memory now, colored by time and nostalgia. You can play Wii Sports today, and it's still entertaining, but it's not the same. The novelty is gone. The cultural moment has passed. You can't experience it with fresh eyes again, but that's okay. That's how time works. The Wii was a phenomenon of its moment, 2006 to 2010 roughly, and that moment has ended. Trying to recapture it exactly would be futile. What you can do is remember it, appreciate it, understand what it meant. The Wii represented hope in a way. Hope that gaming could be for everyone. Hope that innovation mattered more than power. Hope that accessibility and quality weren't mutually exclusive. hope that families could actually enjoy something together in the living room. Some of those hopes were realized. Gaming is more diverse now, more accessible, more widely accepted. Some were disappointed. The casual market moved on. Motion controls became a feature, not a revolution. The Wii's unique magic couldn't be bottled and reproduced. What remains is the memory, the feeling of possibility, the sound of the startup chime, the look of that clean white console, the satisfying click of inserting a disc, the blue glow of Wii Connect 24, the Me channel music that still pops into your head unbidden. You remember standing in your living room, remote in hand, genuinely having fun. You remember convincing your skeptical parent to try Wii Sports and watching them get hooked. You remember the ache in your arm after too much Wii tennis. You remember the laughter, the competition, the shared experience. The Wii taught you that gaming could bring people together, that it could be joyful and simple and accessible without being shallow, that sometimes the best innovation is making something everyone can enjoy. Picture it one more time. It's a Saturday evening in 2007. You're in your living room. Your Wii is set up, ready to go. Friends are coming over. You've got pizza on the way. The sensor bar glows its subtle red. You turn on the system. That musical flourish plays. The blue menu appears, channels stretching back into infinity. You navigate to Wii Sports with a point of the remote. The disc is already in the drive. It always is, really. You select bowling. Your friends arrive. You hand them remotes. You don't need to explain how to play. They just know. Pick up the remote, swing your arm, release at the right time. Within minutes, everyone's playing, laughing, competing. Someone gets a strike and everyone cheers. Someone throws a gutter ball and everyone groans. You're taking turns, but everyone's engaged, even when they're not playing. The TV is the centerpiece, and you're all around it together. The pizza arrives. You eat and play. Someone spills a drink because they gestured too wildly during golf. Everyone laughs. You switch to tennis. Teams form naturally. The competition gets heated but stays friendly. Hours pass without notice. It's past midnight when people start leaving. Everyone had fun. Even the friend who doesn't usually like video games. Even your friend's girlfriend who came reluctantly. The Wii did what it was supposed to do. It brought people together. You turn off the console. The screen goes dark. The room is quiet again. The sensor bar's red LEDs dim. You gather the remotes, check that they're in their charging dock. You smile, tired but content. That's the Wii. Not the hardware specs or the sales figures or the market analysis. It's that feeling, that moment, that simple joy of swinging your arm and playing a game with people you care about. It was there for a few years, and then it passed. The moment ended. The phenomenon faded. The casual audience moved on. The hardcore gamers had always been elsewhere. The Wii gathered dust, but for that time, 2006 through 2010, roughly, the Wii was magic. It was revolutionary. It was exactly what gaming needed at exactly the right time. It expanded the medium. It changed perceptions. It brought millions into the fold. The little white console sitting in your entertainment center represented possibility. It represented Nintendo at their most innovative, most willing to take risks, most committed to their philosophy of making games for everyone. And if you were there, if you lived through the Wii era, If you experienced the phenomenon firsthand, you remember. You remember what it felt like when gaming broke free of its constraints and became something bigger, something more inclusive, something truly for everyone. The Wii didn't last forever. Nothing does. But while it lasted, while the motion controls were still novel and the living rooms were still full of laughter and your grandmother was still learning to bowl strikes, it was special. That's the legacy. Not the sales numbers or the market disruption or the technological innovation. It's the memories, the feelings, the moments of genuine joy and connection. The Wii would like to play, and for a few beautiful years we all did.